3 overall. So a solid job by the Cardinals after the All-Star break of coming in and kind of reasserting themselves.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. That's going to make Pinero 8-9 on the season so far. The Cardinals are going to be 51-43 on the season, so that means that they're still in first place in the National League Central and 2 games ahead of the Milwaukee Brewers, who are also still hot right now.
Well, they are, and you talk about Chicago too, who crushed Washington yesterday, 11-3. How about this? The Cubs, they had 16 hits in that victory. If the Cubs can get healthy, which I know that Lou Piniella thinks that they can, the Cubs down the stretch, they could give the Cardinals and possibly the Brewers some issues as well.
It could happen. It could happen. Although you want to talk about, well, I think the Cubs are cursed, and you want to talk about teams that are bad. Let's talk about the Nationals.
Oh man, you're not kidding.
Yeah. I mean, a team that can't even get their the name on their jersey spelled right, you know they're in trouble.
Yeah, and then actually with that win yesterday by the Cubs, Neilsen, Chicago now jumps Milwaukee, so they're now 2 games back from the Cardinals. Milwaukee is 3 games back.
Well, there you go. That's a live feed. Because when I wrote this show, I guess that game wasn't over yet.
Yeah, the Cubs making a run here, no question.
There you go. All right, let's keep it moving here. Let's go to Atlanta, where the Braves crushed the New York Mets 7-1. The Braves are now 46-46 on the season, which, you know, you may say, that's just a so-so season, but that's going to put them in second place in the National League East. However, they're still 6.5 games back from division-leading Philadelphia Phillies. What do you think about the Phillies and kind of that division there, Andrew?
Well, I think the Phillies are going to win it, obviously. Right now, they're, you said 6.5 games up.
Right.
And no one is even threatening at this point. And if you look at this conference, Atlanta, Florida, New York, Washington, in my opinion, you take out New York and Washington. I mean, they're done.
I'd agree.
Boy, the Mets, you talk about a disappointing year. Atlanta,
a lot of injuries
Florida,
on that team.
A lot of injuries, you're right. Atlanta and Florida might still have a chance, but the probability of either one of those teams getting hot and playing good baseball on a consistent basis at a consistent level is, in my opinion, very low. The chance of that happening. So right now, it's Philadelphia's division to lose, and I don't think that they're going to lose it. I think that they will take the East, and certainly no wild card will come out of the East.
Now, as far as the National League is concerned,
right,
what do you think about the Cardinals and the Phillies? Who's the better of those 2 teams?
That's tough. If you look at the records, it's Philadelphia 51-38, Cardinals 51-43, so they're right there. That's why you have best out of however many games,
7, yeah.
Best out of 7 in the playoffs to determine that. 2 evenly matched teams, though.
2 very similar teams, the way they play offense and defense as well.
Both of those teams, even though their records are solid, I mean, they both won 51 games here on out, they still both have some injuries, and if they can continue to get healthy, talk about the Cardinals, it was announced yesterday that Troy Gloss, who everyone kind of forgot about, he's being sent up to the Redbirds as he is continuing to rehab from his shoulder injury. And also, Khalil Green is trying to do a stint here in Memphis for his antisocial disorder.
Oh, well, there you go.
I don't understand that at all, but nonetheless. But, if...
Well, this is one heck of a city to work on that in.
Yes. But if the Cardinals can get guys like Green and Gloss healthy by October, wow, this could be a team that has offensive production. In other words, Albert Pujols doesn't have to do it all.
Well, there you go. All right, we'll have to keep up to date. That's a good topic. Obviously, we still got a little while. It should be October before we really start seeing clear-cut teams at the head of the pack here. So, Andrew, let's hop the pond and talk about the British Open, buddy. The American Stuart Sink beats countryman Tom Watson in a dramatic four-hole playoff. Sink parred 2 holes and then birdied the final 2, while Watson, he bogeyed, he parred, he double bogeyed, and then bogeyed the final 4 holes. Not really kind of not clutch.
Well, the drama,
Tom Watson.
Well, the drama was not necessarily in the playoff because it was evident from the first tee shot that Tom Watson didn't have a chance. Tom Watson walked up to the 18th, tee with a one-shot lead, and all he had to do was par the hole. He ends up missing a 8-foot putt, and I mean probably one of the worst efforts I've seen. One of my efforts, basically. That's what I'm saying. I mean, because he left the putt probably a foot and a half short, and he ends up bogeying the hole, 3-putting. And that's how, that sounds like us. And, and that's how he jumps into the playoff with Stewart Cink. So, a crushing blow for Tom Watson, a guy who's 59 years old. He was on the verge of becoming golf's oldest major champion. You couldn't ask for a nicer guy to hand it to. It's unfortunate that Tom, that things went the way they did for Tom. But nonetheless, Stewart Cink was there, and he took advantage of it. So all the credit goes to him. He played a phenomenal 4 holes. He was 2 under. Tom Watson 4 over. There's your difference right there.
Well, yeah.
In the clutch, Stewart Cink showed up to putt.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, you took the words right out of my mouth, Andrew. So let's hop another pond, okay? A little bit smaller, but let's go to the European continent here, where the Tour de France has reached the mountain stages, and it looks like the reign of Lance Armstrong may be at an end, as his teammate Alberto Contador showed pure power and determination to win the first mountain stage. Now, in an interview with both men, they both admitted that Lance is now a helper. And if you're not familiar with the Tour de France or what a helper is, these are the guys that tend to ride in front of the point man, okay, the superstar. Give him drag, let him save his energy till the last, the last 100 meters of the race. Then the point man comes in front and pulls away and wins the race for the team and himself. So anyway, long story short, it looks like Alberto Contador is the new point man for the team that Lance Armstrong's on, Andrew.
Well, not only is he the new point man, Neilsen, but you're right. It looks like that Contador has kind of asserted himself as maybe the lead dog, if you will, on the U.S. team. And, we were talking before the show, it was just a matter of time before this was going to happen. I mean, Lance Armstrong can't keep doing this. The fact that he's in second place behind his teammate is really astounding all in itself. Don't count him out, though. There's no question. This guy...
and the fact that they're in first and second place.
Well, exactly.
And on the same team.
But Lance has always been a person that feeds off of adversity. I mean, you look at his fight with cancer, basically, he was told that he was not going to live. So don't count this guy out. He does well over the mountain stages. However, he has struggled this year just a little bit compared to previous seasons. So we'll have to see what happens. But you're right. Right now, it's Alberto Contador's race to lose. Anything can happen, though, in the Tour de France, just like any other sport. If he goes down, if he gets injured, which the probability rises once you kind of move to these mountain stages. I mean, basically, you're letting gravity take you, 500 feet down a hill.
And you're almost guaranteed to see one a year. One big crash where the whole field kind of is involved. So I agree. Don't count anybody out at this point. It's still kind of early.
I have to use my brakes at Shelby Farms. Going downhill.
Now, how long do you think Lance Armstrong, will he be a helper, or can he not be the alpha male here, the top dog?
I think so. I think look,
in years to come, this year may be one thing. Do you think Lance will continue to be a helper?
I don't think so. No, I think that if Lance Armstrong is going to participate in the Tour de France, he's going to want to win it. And
I can't blame him for that.
I mean, wanting to win and actually, us, trying to execute that is two different things. But I don't believe that he's going to enter the Tour de France just to be a helper. Maybe this year, due to the way things have kind of worked themselves out, trying to be a good teammate, he will kind of mold himself into that role. But in future years, no, I really don't see it. If Lance Armstrong, in his gut, if he feels like that he cannot win the Tour de France, then he is not going to enter. Simple as that. Okay.
Well, looks like the future and the fate of Lance Armstrong may be in the hands of Alberto Contador here, who is absolutely awesome. If you get highlights to see this guy, he's the real deal. So we'll see what he does as the Tour de France continues on, obviously today and the next week here or so. Okay, Andrew, final story.